Are you a sugar addict or intolerant to gluten? If you have ever wanted a magical cookie recipe to share on special occasions, you'll want to listen closely. My name is Christina, and at 4'10", I'm an expert on all things elfin. Today, I'll be sharing a special recipe from the North Pole that's magic enough to eat any time of year: chocolate chip forgotten cookies. After today, you will understand what it takes to make these delectable cookies, how to prepare, and more importantly, how to enjoy them. Since you know what we're making, let's get baking. First, we want to talk about how to prepare the kitchen. You're going to need your ingredients, and for this recipe, those are 2 egg whites at room temperature, 2/3 cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla. An optional item is 1 cup of finely chopped pecans. I don't prefer nuts, so I'll leave those out. The last and my most favorite ingredient, 1 cup of chocolate chips. The equipment you'll need for this project are an oven, preheated to 350 degrees, a mixer, or could be a hand mixer, and you'll need cookie sheets covered in foil and greased, like so. Now that we have everything ready, let's get started. To prepare these cookies, you're going to need to beat the egg whites until foamy. Pour those in here. And it's very important that those are at room temperature. Okay, you want to lock your mixer. And let it rip. Now, because we only have 6 to 8 minutes here, I'm going to pause the video while we let these get good and foamy. Okay, now that our egg whites are foamy, we're going to add in sugar, a little bit at a time. The most important thing is that the egg whites become stiff. You want to make sure that the egg whites turn into nice stiff peaks. All right, that's starting to look much better. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our salt and vanilla. I'm going to turn that off for just a moment. We'll add those in. And 1. Now, I will also say that imitation vanilla does not do as well in these cookies. In these cookies, I would suggest going all out on your ingredients. All right, now we're going to stir that in. Let that get good and stirred. Now, while that's stirring, I'd like to give you a few tips about how not to bake chocolate chip forgotten cookies. The most important part is the meringue. So you want to make sure that that really is good and fluffy, makes good and stiff peaks. If you don't, when you put them in overnight, they turn into flat, soupy cookies, and that's not magical for anyone. All right, it looks like we're getting there. Send some of that out just a moment. Okay, we're just about ready to add our chocolate chips. Oh, wonderful. It looks very similar to a marshmallow cream. Sometimes you might want to spin it to get that last part off there. All right. Go ahead and remove the bowl. There you can see we have a lovely stiff mixture to make our cookies. Now the first time you make this, you may want to add just a little bit less of chocolate chips because it does tend to get very rich. So you're just going to want to fold these in. Let's go ahead and throw the rest of them in. So by the time you get done mixing, it's gonna look a lot like a marshmallow cream meringue. Okay, we have a proper batter. Now let's go ahead and get it in the pan. Let's take our first pan here, and we are simply going to take a teaspoonful, and you're just going to want to dollop it right on the pan. Now, if you can make them taller, these cookies are perfect that way. Now, the wonderful thing about chocolate chip forgotten cookies, or any other type of forgotten cookie, is the meringue effect. When we put it in the oven, we are going to turn the heat off. And the name forgotten cookie comes from the fact that when you put it in the oven, you shut the door and then you leave it overnight to cook, as if you forgot to take them out of the oven. These are very sweet and so much fun to eat. There, we just about have it. Perfect. That's all the work. Next, we patiently wait for the magic. Come back and join me in the morning, and we'll see what these delectable cookies look like together. Good morning, and welcome back. Today, you can meet the magic. We've got the cookies that have been baking all night, and let's just see what the elves have created. Ta-da! Chocolate chip forgotten cookies. I also have them on a plate here because you want to be very careful getting them off. It might be easier if you push them from the bottom, because what you have is a very marshmallowy chocolate chip cookie. Just dissolves in your mouth and it's so wonderful. The magic you find in the morning and the magic that melts in your mouth makes the wait so worthwhile. Surely you've enjoyed learning about my special recipe from the North Pole, chocolate chip forgotten cookies. And I hope you'll enjoy them any time of year. You learned what it takes to make these delectable cookies, how to prepare them, and more importantly, how to enjoy them. Indeed, once you make them chocolate chip forgotten cookies, it's something they'll never forget.